Hey readers, I am so excited you are here for our next book chat for my currently releasing fantasy series on Wings of Ash and Dust. This time we're talking all about episode 4, Forest of Blood, the Dryad Hunt, where we'll discuss all things spoilery for this episode, including more insider details about the characters, how I plotted this episode and kind of showing you the outline and the pacing of it with the story beats, behind the scenes reveals, and more. Also, I'm really excited to share later on how you can get in on this episode's competition too, as we honor the episode's trial of life in a really special way. Here's a little sneak peek of what's coming, but we'll talk more about it in a little bit. In case you're tuning in for the first time to one of these, I have a playlist of all the chats related to this series read along we've done so far, like our other behind the scenes chats about past episodes and our really fun discussions on topics like writing a series, creating compelling characters, and last week's discussion on how to make a fantasy world feel real. That was really, really fun. So I'll leave that playlist down below if you're just tuning in for the first time and need to catch up. And finally, this is where I warn you that if you haven't read all the way through episode 4 yet, we don't want to spoil anything for you. We are going to talk about everything that happens all the way till the end. So definitely check out the book links down below and catch up on the earlier episodes first, and then come back to this video to experience the fun. But let's get into chatting, and I love to kick things off with a question that you guys can share in the chat, and then I'm going to pull up your comments, we'll chat a little bit, and then we'll get into talking about episode 4. So let me know, as always, what fairy clan you are a part of, and what behind the scenes episode 4 detail are you hoping to hear about most? Any aspect of the story that you were like, I hope we get to talk more about this. And if you don't know what fairy clan you belong to yet, you can always take the quick fairy clan quiz, which is linked down below on my website. And while you're there, you can also join the Facebook group for this series to get to know other readers and never miss a thing for what's going on with this series read along. Also, in honor of Forest of Blood, we finally have an emoji for Alice's character that YouTube members can use in the chat and normal comments. So Ingrid, who's in the chat right now, Arctic Paintbrush on Instagram, has designed all of these. And she gave me Alice a while ago, but I just forgot to add her to YouTube. So sorry. But now that we're talking about her, it's like the perfect time to have her. So if you want to practice using her in the chat, you totally can. All right, I'm going to say hi to everybody for a little bit. And then if you're watching the replay, you want to skip ahead to more of the book chat, you can go ahead and do that. But love to say hi to everybody who is here live. Let's see. I see Heather is Team Nymph. And hi, Athena. Hello. Ingrid's here. And Team Sylph for JJ. Jennifer says, so cute, Ingrid. Yes, so cute. I love these emojis. Dryad for Katie. Awesome. And unfortunately, okay, so when you see the colons and the little like words in between, that's where the emojis go that you can actually see in the live chat, or if you're watching the replay, you'll see them on the replay of the live chat. But for some reason, StreamYard that I'm using to live stream won't show it up on the screen. It makes me very sad, but at least you guys got to see it a few seconds ago. Let's see. Leanne said, I thought I was Team Kobo, but after Cavern of Terrors, yes. And I mean, well, we won't go there because of spoilers, right? We'll talk about Cavern of Terrors next time. But I will say that there is a great side and a not so great side to every clan, just like real people. So I know, yeah, let's not spoil anything for anybody who hasn't read that yet. But Heather says all of the covers are gorgeous. Yay. And let's see, we got the whole gang. I know we have all of the characters, you guys, that you've seen on the covers now and you've seen in the emojis. And the 6th episode, which I haven't revealed the cover for yet, I will just give you a little sneak peek that it will be Quinn again. We are going back to Gwillian territory for the last part of the competition, but she will be different. She will be a little transformed after this whole process. And so I'm super excited for you guys to see what Hillary did with that episode. And so each of the covers for the bookends of the episodes will be like bookends. It'll be Quinn and then everybody else and then Quinn again. So I'm really excited to kind of put them back to back and for you guys to see them. Athena eating dinner, but I'm here. I love it. Love the commitment. Mary says, Nymph here. I'm curious about, or among other things, the creatures the competitors come across in Vendoria. Yes, we can talk a little bit about that. I don't want to spoil too much because, well, a little spoiler, they will come back. And so, but let me know what you want to know about them. We can definitely talk about it. I really love this book. Yay. Thank you, Dania. And can't wait to see the episode's cover. Yes, it's pretty epic. I don't know. I always say like the newest cover is like my favorite cover, but we'll see. We'll see. Cool. Okay, so let's get into starting to chat, shall we? And the first thing I love to talk about are characters. And let's see. So I would love to know if you have the same character since like the last episode, the same favorite, or you have some new favorites, or maybe you have a couple favorites as you read. And I will just recap the characters that we have in this episode. Of course, we have all 5 competitors. So we have Quinn, we have Vale, we have Aaron, we have Alice, and we have Hickory. And we'll see his book cover that I revealed last week at the end of this video again. And I will also say, before I mention the other characters that were in this episode, I want to give a huge shout out to Arctic Paintbrush, who all on her own, she's so amazing, is creating character art for all of these characters. And I'm just going to make this real big. Because today she posted Alice and her dragon Toma, and it's just so beautiful, so beautiful, and pretty much exactly how I pictured Toma specifically, you know, because Alice obviously is very similar to what's on the cover, but without giving Ingrid any like reference pictures. I'm like, Toma's so gorgeous. Oh my gosh, he's great. So great job, Ingrid. Thank you so much for doing this character art. I'm blown away and just really thankful, and I'm just in love. So thank you. So yeah, so we have the main 5 characters, and then also we got to see a little bit more of Queen Gwendolyn. We saw a couple scenes with Quinn's father, Phaedon. We met the nymph leaders, Lord Torlon and Lady Navi. Other dryads, we also met a couple of Alice's siblings. So she has her younger siblings. One is kind of close in age, Lemon, and then Ivy. We got to know a little bit. And then, of course, we have these goblins, and we also have like creatures like the lynxicorns. So what kind of characters did you guys like? I'm going to bring this up so you can see my face a little bit more. And let's see what we got for comments here. Athena says, I really want the physical books. These covers are so beautiful. Yay. And just so you know, I am working on the book cover that's going to, because all of these are going to go into one physical book. So it's like really like a full book size. And all of the characters are going to be on that final cover. So Hillary's working on that right now. And yeah, I will let you guys know when it is available to pre-order the physical book. But we're working on the cover right now, and it's very cool and very exciting. Can't wait to show it to you guys. Let's see. Leanne says, sound off your favorite characters. Yes, mine is Alice. Yes. How can you not love Alice at this point, really? Alice is my favorite. Yes. Yes, Ingrid is so talented, Heather. I agree. Ingrid says, yay, I'm so happy you like them. I love them. Oh my gosh, every time I get a new one, I'm like, oh, you're spoiling me. I love it. Let's see. I love painting dragons, so I never miss an opportunity. Spot on for the dragons, let me just say. Donnie says Quinn, Alice, and Hickory. Yeah, so we got our like little trio that sort of had like a few moments together in this episode. Jay says, love the scene with Quinn and Aaron. And like right before we got on this live stream, Ingrid reminded me that actually when she was a beta reader, she did character art for that scene. And it's been so long since like she gave it to me that I almost forgot. And so as we're talking about this episode, I'm like, oh my gosh. So that's why I was like a minute or so late, because I was like trying to pull it up, and I do have it somewhere in the slides to show you guys the character art for that scene, which was like so cool to get. When she was just an early beta reader and I didn't have a lot going on yet. So Let's see. Agreed. Yes, I love that you guys are giving Ingrid love because she does amazing work. Ingrid says, I also think Lemon is an interesting character, really refreshing to hear some strong opinions about what is essentially the politics of the world. Yes. And I was definitely challenged. I'm just gonna take a drink of water. I was definitely challenged in the first beta reader round to really work on the politics of this world and make sure that everything was jiving. And I think I might have beefed up Lemon. Of course, I'm saying Lemon, but that's who he was in my head. But then my brother started calling him Lemon, which I think sounds so much more fantasy. So if you guys let me know, do you like lemon or Lemon? I don't know how to phonetically, you guys can put that in the chat, but I think I should be saying Lemon because I think I like that better. Anyway, he has very strong opinions. And he's someone like one of the first people that we see besides Quinn, really, who in the past has been like competition stupid, that he's the first person that's like really kind of challenging it too. Let's see. Danny says, I really love how much Quinn has grown from book 1 to book 4. Yes, character arcs. I'm so glad you're seeing that and enjoying that. Mary says, what was your inspiration for the Lynxicorns? So I'll say this right now. It could have been something we talk about later, but I will say, so I don't forget, is that they were originally actually white tigers. I think I had a different name for them. And this was an area that I was really challenged while I was working with my developmental editor, that she was like, you have such a robust like fantasy world. Can we see more like unique creatures? And so she was like specifically with the creatures that like first attacked the heirs in this episode, like, could you think of something more unique? So I was like racking my brain and going on Pinterest and like looking for different inspiration pictures, and I started seeing like more cat type fantasy creatures, and there was like a lynx, and then I always like when there's like a unicorn or like a horn kind of thing going on with fairy creatures. And I was inspired. I should have put it in the slides, but there were a few pictures that I was really inspired by. I'll share it on Instagram if I remember some of the ones that I saw. But eventually I just started piecemealing these different aspects together that I thought would be really cool. And eventually I was like, okay, now I need to name this thing. And went to my friend Amanda, who I've mentioned a few times on here. And I was like, Amanda, I think I want this and this, but like, what could I do? And she, I think, was also like brainstorming with me, like what kind of creature it could be. And she came up with the word Lynxicorn. And I was like, yes, that like is totally what I'm kind of picturing. And I think that would be really fun. So again, kudos to Amanda, who's just amazing and super helpful in this area. So yes, they were really, really fun. Let's see. I still love Quinn the most. Heather, thank you. You always want all of your characters to have love, but it is something very special when someone says that their favorite character is the main character, for sure. Leanne says, Ivy, that little sprout has everyone wrapped around her little finger, doesn't she? Yes, she does. Yeah, I'll say more about her when we get into the behind the scenes stuff, but I really enjoyed writing her too. Let's see. Ingrid says this episode has friendship developing, bromance, attempted murder, deadly trial, horrific creatures, the queen being real suspicious, learning Alice's secrets. I love this episode so much. Yes. And that's why it became like, is it longer than episode 1? I'm trying to remember. I think it's either as long or just under how long episode 1 was. And it was because it was just like packed with so much. And part of the reason, we'll get to that when we get to the outline part, is that the trial is actually the midpoint of the story, whereas all the other episodes so far, the trial has been the finale of the episode. So I think that's part of why this one ended up being longer. Here says, I have read it with the long E vowel too. So Lehman? Lemon? I don't know. we'll figure out how we're supposed to pronounce it. Mary's, I was saying something like layman or Lehman. Okay. I love it. I definitely have to get like a glossary. Phonetic, is glossary the right word, the term? What's the term where like you have something in the back of the book and it has like how to phonetically pronounce everything? I got to get that together for the physical book before that comes out. Are we allowed to give theories in this chat? Leanne, yes. Can we save them for the theories section? Because I do have a theory section, but hold on to it because I would love to hear those. And I'm going to try to keep a very straight face so I don't give anything away. JD says, in my head, I pronounced it Lehman. Okay. Okay, I will get back to you guys about how I want to pronounce, because when I was writing it, I was saying lemon for some reason, which is like sounds like a yellow lemon, which is probably not the right thing. But then when my brother said lemon, I was like, "Ooh, that sounds like stronger." So I'll let you guys know. Athena says, "I love how everyone in their own person is their own person. They're so different, and it's so easy to identify with them and to say that we have friends like them too." Yes, yes, you can like see like real people in them, right? And that when we talked about the creating character, not character arcs, creating compelling characters, that video we did a couple weeks ago, I'm telling you, the Enneagram and using the Enneagram to really vary and flesh out your characters is so, so valuable. Let's see. Britt's characters are also fleshed out. Thank you. It really means a lot. Lemon goes by many names. He totally can. He can carry it. Brittany, you need to decide how to pronounce the names before the TV show gets picked up. Can we all yes? Can we just say yes? Can that like happen someday? That would be amazing. Thank you, Leanne. So I love that you guys are excited about the characters. Let's now talk about your favorite scenes. And as always, I'll give you guys a little bit of a recap and sort of the outline of the story. But it did also want to say that we are in a brand new province for this episode, obviously. So far in the series, we've seen the Gwillians and Greymarrow, which you'll see more of in episode 6. We've seen the Sylphs and Eldor. We've seen the nymphs in Isinglass, and now in episode 4, the heirs travel through the woodlands, which is like the big forest area, to get to the main Dryad village, where like the leaders live, which is called Vindoria, before they experience the Cobalt tunnels of Tartarus in the next episode. So I know some of you have already gotten there, but that's sort of a little recap. We showed some of these inspiration images last week when we talked about fantasy worlds. And if you missed them, we've gone over the story beat sheets or beat outlines for episodes 1 through 3 in previous chats. You can check those out down below. But here is the outline and key scenes and story beats from episode 4. So just as a reminder, we have the setup with an opening image of the queen warning Quinn. Quinn goes to the queen thinking that she's just going to get kind of like a slap on the wrist, hopefully nothing major, for ranking above Vale for the first time. And the queen warns her about many things that we can talk more about. We also then have the fun and games. So they travel through the woodlands and the goblins attack. The heirs are stranded, and through that, Alice reveals her real gift to Quinn. We have the Dryad warriors show up with, I'm just going to say Lemon. And then they finally get to Vindoria, where we meet Ivy and Alice and Lemon's parents. And we have a couple scenes where Quinn is training Vale. We have like sort of a more vulnerable moment from Vale there. A little more time with Hickory. And then the queen, another warning from her, which goes right into the trial of life, which is the midpoint. Then we get the bad guys close in, where there's a race through the forest for the remedy because they have all been poisoned. They have hallucinations, or some of them have hallucinations. So Quinn has the one about Gaius, who ends up being Hickory. And then they come across the field of goblins with Alice, and they fight through that only to get stranded and kind of trapped in the Mystic Temple. And eventually, Hickory, Alice, and Quinn finish last together, which is a big deal. Then we hit the all is lost. Quinn is poisoned. She has a new vision of Gaius, which is different than all her other nightmares so far. And there's a short scene with Faden kind of hinting some different things for him. We have the finale where Alice speaks for the first time through healing Quinn and can talk to her through touch, which is why she always wears her gloves. And alliances start to form as Quinn asks for help for the first time. And we finish with this kind of really cute but cliffhanger scene where Aaron takes Quinn to this oasis. They have their first kiss, and there's this feeling of bliss, but will it really last is kind of the question that we're left with, the cliffhanger with everything else going on. So this is the the beautiful artwork by Arctic Paintbrush that she did again when she was an early beta reader for me, reading the story at an early stage for the first time. And she sent me this beautiful artwork of the Oasis and of Aaron and Quinn in the boat. And it's just like pretty perfect. Like this is pretty darn close to what I have in my head with the waterfall and the fireflies. I'm so thirsty, guys. I'm so sorry. So I just love this. I'm not sure what the quality is like. Oh, shoot. That was, sorry, guys. That was small for you that whole time. I will go back just for a second so you can see the outline a little bit bigger. But now I'm going to go back here so you can see the artwork and how lovely it is. I had to screenshot this real quick because I added it later right before we got on here. So it's probably not the high quality that she gave me pixelated wise, but it looks pretty good. But it's so beautiful and I love it so much. So yeah, that was really fun. Thanks for reminding me about that, Ingrid. So yeah, so I'm going to go into the chat now and see what your guys' favorite scenes were. And then I'm going to start sharing some behind the scenes kind of details I thought would be fun to share. You guys can ask any questions and we will all also do fan theories. So let me get back to where I left off on comments. Let's see. Ingrid said, I had phonetics in uni where which definitely helped when trying to show how things are said, but I haven't used it in a while. Are we talking about how to pronounce things again? Sorry, that was an older comment, but I'm trying to remember. Let's see. Athena says, okay, so after this, we all need to email Netflix about the series. You guys, that would be so cool. That would be amazing. Let's do it. Alicia, hi Alicia. Thanks so much for popping in. We're talking about well, we already talked about favorite characters, but you can say that. But we're also talking about favorite scenes. Yes. And hi Mary, glad you're here. Other Mary, I do not trust the queen at all. Yeah, we will see. We will see. Let's see. I hate the queen. At this point, good. That's good. Leanne says, when Alice attacked the goblins, that's when I knew she was crazier than Quinn, and I loved it. Yes. So this is where we talked about, gosh, I'm so sorry, guys. This is where we talked about Alice and her character being an Enneagram 9, which hates conflict, but she has a very strong one wing, which is all about justice and all about right and wrong and everything's black and white for her. And so when she sees that, like she can't help herself. Like she is crazier than Quinn in that moment. And she's just like, oh, I need to do something. I can't just stand here. So that's when her 1 kind of overrides her 9. I think this comment is about the character art, so I'm glad you like it. Let's see. Athena says, yeah, thanks for the cliffhanger. I flipped the page in my Kindle and was like, really? Yeah, you guys know by now that I love my cliffhangers. I mean, come on. I need to get the reader to the next episode, right? Let's see. JJ remembers the character art. Love it. Yeah, JJ was an early beta too. So when I shared that out, JJ saw it too. So I'm glad you love it. Leanne says, love that picture. I want to draw that. Yes, definitely. Do your own interpretation. Love it. Ingrid, so long ago since I painted that, I kind of want to repaint it with my skill set now 2 years ago. I love when artists do that, when they like have like an original art that they did a while ago and then they redo it and then show the comparison. That would be such a cool thing to do on your account. Just saying, like, I mean, obviously it's of my story, so I'm like all about it, but I think it would be really, really cool to show like the growth, you know. Katie says Quinn and Alice and Hickory are the dream trio, and I can't wait for you all to read episode 5. Yes, because they have a little bit more going on. Jackie, I made it late, but I made it. Awesome. We're talking about favorite scenes, so if you want to let us know, go ahead. Here says, I love the Faden scene. Thank you. I love all the Alice scenes. Definitely. I love the final scene with Aaron. I don't know. I think the whole part is amazing. This whole section is like probably my favorite episode. Although my critique partner, she's reading episode 6 right now, but once she finished episode 5, she was like, this is my favorite episode. So I don't know if she'll say the same thing about episode 6 once she's done with it, but she really enjoyed episode 5, which I was happy about because it is on the shorter side, but I'm thankful that it's still like packed a punch for her. Heather says, loved it when Quinn crossed the finish and pissed off the queen. Yes. She can't help herself. She just has to do what she has to do. Loved it when they crossed the finish line together. Yay, I'm glad you like that. Let's see. I have a fan theory about the queen. Yes, fan theories will be soon, after I share some behind the scenes. Let's see. Ingrid, I remember having a running gag in my beta notes about being suspicious of the queen since the beginning, and I love seeing others have the same feelings now. Yes, I love it. Leanne, Brittany, you are killing us with these cliffhangers. Sorry, not sorry. Yes, I mean, I love to hate cliffhangers that other authors do as well. So I'm with you. I love cliffhangers. They drive me nuts, but I love them. Yes, love to hate them, right? Or hate to love them. Love to hate them. I think that makes more sense. Jackie says, so that means she's not evil, Ingrid. You just have to keep reading, Ingrid. Don't spoil anything. Okay, good. My lips are sealed. Okay, good. Alicia, I mean, Quinn is obviously my favorite, but I really have enjoyed watching the action continue to pick up. Yes, it's going to keep going. Can't wait to get the Kobold trial. Ooh, next Tuesday. It's coming. Jackie says, I knew I wasn't going to get anything. I don't want to spoil it for you. It's so much more fun, like experiencing it as you read it. And then once episode 6 is out, you guys, we will have a chat about all the things, because there are some massive like mind bombs that will just like happen. I have to watch what I say on YouTube, because I'm sure like algorithms are picking up things. But there are some massive things that just like come out in the open once episode 6 gets here. So I really don't want to spoil anything for you. Leanne says, I liked Quinn calling out Vale on why she wants to be queen. Yes, I really enjoyed writing that scene too, because there is a lot more to Vale than we see. And so I'm glad you liked seeing that from her. Let's see. What do you know that we don't? Ingrid knows everything. JJ's does too. She was a beta reader as well. Okay. So let's talk about some behind the scenes. And let's see. I'll start with, and you guys can ask more questions as we go, or clarifying questions as we go. But I just have my normal list of like things I think you would find fun to know. Let's see. So opening scene is the Queen's warning. And this, in some semi earlier drafts, was the end of episode 3. And this was also a scene that was not at all in the early beta rounds, because things changed in episode 3 that then made this scene necessary. And so we find out that the Queen might be looking for the Mystic Tome here, and that she tampered with Aaron's violin during the trial, and warnings and all this different kind of stuff. So even though this scene wasn't originally something that like I thought the story needed, once I wrote it and had all the details in there, it really like fleshed out, I think, and brought more to the surface. So hopefully, even though we were like kind of still in isinglass to begin this episode, I hope that it still felt seamless and like a good opening image to start with. Then we get to the woodlands, and I really liked kind of fleshing out the description in this scene, because we really get to see the effects of the moon rain drought, which has been happening. So like we've got the Knowles plague, we've got the moon rain drought also happening in the story. And I know in the other provinces, we don't get to see the effects of it quite as much, but we definitely see it in the woodlands and the darker part of the forest, and kind of how it's like degrading. Then we get to this goblin attack. And I'm going to ask you guys, if you have specific questions about them, or even predictions about them, you can go ahead and share that. But I don't want to say too much or spoil too much. So I'll read your question and then let you know what I can tell you. But I will say that, funny thing, I was watching the TV show Fate, the Winx saga, Winx, because I saw that it had fairies in it, and it's more like contemporary feeling, but still having like an older, it's like a Harry Potter kind of vibe going on, because they're at like a school together. And anyway, it's a fun watch. And there were some things in that show. This show just came out within the last year or so. And so I was watching it after having written my story and starting to like really finish editing it. for publication, and I'm watching it. And you guys, if you watch it, let me know if you see some similarities between my story and this one. I'm like, oh my gosh, there's so many things, which I'm glad that my books haven't come out first, but I knew that I started writing my story before this TV show came out. Anyway, I'm bringing this up because they have monsters called the burned ones, and they have burned skin that flakes off. And it basically, when I saw them in the TV show, I was like, this is basically what I pictured the goblins to be, but they don't have wings. That was like basically the only difference. So if you see them, if you watch Fate, the Winx Saga, and you see the burned ones, or you want to Google it, that's kind of what I'm envisioning. And I know like there's many different like versions of goblins in folklore and stuff. But I wanted to take something from fairy lore and name this monster that I was creating out of it, so that it was like familiar, but also had its own unique twist. And so I hope you enjoyed that. And so when I saw the word goblin, I was like, ooh, like that's what this can be. But obviously it's like, yeah, just different. And but it's also, they're also like kind of related to what's going on with the forest and the degradation, and like kind of symbolic of that. And I won't tell you much more about them or like where they come from or whatever, because you'll find out more soon. But that's just like a fun little connection. I'm going to check comments real fast because I saw a few more come in. Alicia says the interaction with Vale and her mom is going to be huge for her arc. Agreed. Yeah, it's basically all centered around how she relates to her mom. So I love that. JJ, as early beta readers, we know stuff. You know, lots of stuff. I know something. I don't know something. Love it, Ingrid. Let's see. Donnie says, I really love how Vale thought she can boss everyone around in the forest. Yeah. And it was like the first situation where really she had no pull because they were totally by themselves, which I'll get into. Ingrid, the goblins are so scary. The descriptions of them are horrifying, and I love it. Yes. And I'm not like I wouldn't call myself like a horror or thriller writer like at all, but I like adding danger, and I like adding these like little bits where it's just like, what is this? Like, I'm scared. So hope that makes sense. JJ says, I saw Fate and thought of you and glad you liked it. Yes, I did really like it. And if anybody wants to have a chat after the whole series is out to talk about a little bit about the similarities and differences between that show and my book, I would have a lot of fun doing that, just saying. So let me know if you watch it. Katie, hi Katie. That's such a fun show. I want more. I do see some similarities. Yeah. Especially, I mean, it's very obvious at this point, but the main character in the Winx Saga, her gift is fire, and she has to deal with that. And it's rooted, her problem with it is rooted in hurting someone in her past. And so like, I'm like, I saw that and I was like, oh my gosh, this is basically Quinn, even though they're like different as well. And they both struggle with trusting. And so anyway, just a fun show to watch. Leanne says the prisoners from the mines are being, oh, this is a theory. The prisoners from the mines are being taken to turn into goblins for somebody's experiments to serve as the big bad minions. Ooh, okay. I am not saying anything. Donnie says, I see Fate, your books is so much better. Thank you. I was a fan of Winx as a child, so I feel like they could do the show better. I feel your series is amazing. Thank you, Dania. Let's email Netflix. I really am loving the tie to Hunger Games, Real or Illusion. So I didn't have this in my notes, Alicia, but there is a line in Hunger Games, real. Oh, what's the line? Now that I changed it, I can't remember. Real or, yeah, maybe it is real. What do they say in Hunger Games? Somebody's going to put it in the comments and I'm going to be like, duh. But they have a line, real or something. And I actually had that in my initial draft, not even putting that together, that's probably where I got it from. No, I thought somebody put it in the comments. No, it wasn't real or make believe. What did they say in Hunger Games? Real or not real. That was what they said in Hunger Games, real or not real. And I had it in there and a couple betas recognized it and they were like, is this like a callback to Hunger Games? And I was like, who, like, this is like a key line from Hunger Games that because I'm using it as a comp, I probably shouldn't like steal it by accident. So I had to think of like, how can I reword it so it basically means the same thing, but not. And so I changed one word, which I think is like enough to make it feel like a callback without a direct copy. So real or illusion is what we ended up with. Let's see. Athena says, theory, keeping a straight face. Even though the queen is the bad guy, I don't think she's the true bad guy, just a shield to hide the true bad guy. Not saying anything, but I love the theories. Alicia says, real or make believe. Yeah, real or not real, right? That's what they said in Hunger Games. I think it's real or, yeah, real or not real. Thank you guys. Yeah, great. Okay. Okay, so I caught up with comments, so I'm going to keep going. Then we get to this point in the story where the heirs, Toma comes, right? We have this epic time where like Toma, the dragon, comes and like basically saves them and kind of he doesn't die, but sacrifices himself a little bit. He gets him, attacked by the goblins while the heirs run away. And we see this like exchange between Alice and Toma where he's like blowing fire at her to be like, don't come help me, like go. And so I love that moment too. But now the heirs are stranded in the forest, and Alice is all like turned around because of Toma. So she's like trying to see if she can get them to Vendoria. And but this whole scene and this like kind of series of scenes, at this point in the story, I really wanted to show the heirs get isolated from everyone else and needing to work together, even if they didn't necessarily want to, kind of foreshadowing what's to come. And now that you all have read the whole episode, you know that at the end of this episode, they form that alliance. So it was kind of like a foreshadowing and sort of seeing them starting to like work together a little bit. Then we have this epic kind of sequence with Alice, right? And I'm kind of just going to talk about Alice as a whole, from like this first time that Quinn sees her healing, and then to the scene where after Quinn's poisoned, Alice heals her. And we learn even more about her backstory because she can talk to her through touch. So a lot of you had questions about Alice early on because she's very mysterious, and her gift, and kind of how I came up with her power. And so I will start off by saying, for this specific scene where we learn that Alice actually has a healing ability, this scene where she heals the jackalope is why I decided ultimately to name her Alice. And originally in the earlier drafts, it was spelled Alice. And I changed it because I felt like Alys like sounds a little more fantasy. But she was named Alice because in many ways, Alice revealing her power, and then the pneumatic tattoo on her arm is Quinn's down the rabbit hole moment. Alice is basically Alice in Wonderland taking Quinn down the rabbit hole. And that's why I had her heal a white jackalope, which is basically like a rabbit, but more fantasy, thanks to, again, to my developmental editor pushing me to be a little more unique. But this is the point that Quinn starts learning and becoming even more curious about everything that's going on. And I really wanted to show more instances of how these heirs are kind of connected without them even knowing it, because we've already seen Hickory with his visions and how they're the same as Quinn's nightmares. And then now Alice having the tattoo, that's the same symbol that's on the tome that Quinn knows is connected somehow to her mom and the daggers that Gaius and her have and all this stuff. So from this point on in the story, Quinn really takes a more purposeful kind of motion towards like discovering what's really going on in the story, if that makes sense. Let's see. Athena says, all I see is Clifford and the big red dog and Toma, just a big protector puppy. Yes. Hold on. Let me pull that up. That's really sweet. I like that connection. Also, it's nice that they are learning to work together. Yes. Mary says, ooh, I like the explanation of Alice's name. Thank you. Yes. So not all the time do my characters have like deep meanings of why they're called what they're called, but Alice definitely does. Then we get into Alice's healing versus what we thought was a death gift. And we find out later in this episode why Alice keeps this gift, which is secret. So the inspiration for Alice's gift initially. And I can't remember what this was, how I got here, but have you watched or read the book or seen the movie The Green Mile? If you have, let me know, put that in the comments. But the character John Coffey, I think that was his name, is wrongfully accused of a crime when he's really a very good person. And he has this mystical ability to take on others' pain, heal them, and then expel it kind of out of his mouth. It becomes this like cloud of like dust and like yuck, because it's all the pain and all the evil that's coming out of him, but he takes it from that person so that it can be healed. And for Alice, I was just, I don't, again, I'm trying to remember how I got here, but I was like, it would, I think it just in general, I saw that character and I was like, it would be so cool because that's like more a contemporary setting, the Green Mile, to have that kind of character in a fantasy story. I think that's where that started. And so I was imagining like Alice, I think, and how I could kind of do something similar with her character. And instead of the evil and the pain kind of expelling out of her mouth or something, I was like, how else could she get rid of it? And that's where like the growing tattoos kind of came from. I see some people saying that they have some stuff about the Green Mile. Oh, and another theory. My theory about Alice's power were healing, control, nurture, or talk to animals. I was happy to get 2 out of the 3 right. Yes, that's always fun when you kind of predict. Let's see, Jackie. Theory. The Numa are still alive. They're causing all this stuff. The queen knows. And the person who wins the competition, which I hope we get to see all the way through, has to stand against them. I will let you know when you read it. Ingrid says, the thing I like so much is that they are all forced to work together and you can tell their friendship is really developing in this episode and they share their info about the bigger story with everyone. Yes. And that's where we're like past the midpoint into this like turn, this midpoint turn where they're starting to really work together, which you'll see is kind of, even though they're competitors, there's this element that keeps kind of growing in the story. Dina says, I'm really enjoying the little Easter eggs from other books and movies that aren't right out there. Yes. Thank you. This is like the thing, you guys, that like when I was writing this book, I was like, I can't wait until the day that I get to tell my readers, like, this is where this came from, or this is like inspired by this, or this is this connection. So this is like so cool to like be at this moment where I get to be like, these are all the things. So I'm glad that's fun for you. Let's see. Mary says, never seen or read it. Okay. So the Green Mile, it's definitely heavy, but, I mean, a lot of people say, you know, books are always better, but I would watch the movie because it's very interesting. Jackie says, and maybe the Numa, this is part of the theory again, maybe the Numa / bad guy is the queen's ex. So that's why she wants Vale to win so bad. Interesting. Not saying anything. The Green Mile was amazing. Michael Duncan is an amazing actor. Agreed. I've seen The Green Mile. Good. Oh, I love how Alice's gift came about. Yes. So that's the connection. And then where did I leave off here? So as I was like developing this, that she would have this healing gift, like John Coffey, who keeps it a secret. I'm like, how is Alice going to keep this a secret? Because if she doesn't, then the whole world will know that she has this very rare healing ability. And I had concern for her. So obviously that was easy to put into her parents of like concern that if everybody knew, they would want her to try to heal everyone. And you know, all magic has a limit, all people have a limit. And so I had to figure out her limits of like what would happen if she was like kind of overdone and kind of expelled herself too much. So I had her hide it, but wanted to give a reason for her to have to wear these gloves because I knew that she would be wearing the gloves because if she touched people or you know, whatever she would, they could maybe hear her thoughts. She could maybe hear their thoughts. She could start healing without even knowing it. So she had to wear the gloves. And instead I started to be like, okay, how do I cover this up? Where there could be rumors that she has this opposite kind of gift, this gift of death, and that her parents would perpetuate it. And that's where Laurel came in, her sister, her older sister. This also connected, you know, the gift to a loss, to a death, which could bring about the rumor. This is like the one person she's been unable to save. It's her sister. So, and this Laurel would have been in the competition instead if she had lived. So she also has this guilt that she's kind of taken this position, and is created this connection with Quinn because Quinn was unable to save her brother. And so they have like an instant kind of connection because of that when that comes out. And we also learn how Alice lost her voice, and is because she expelled herself so much to try to heal her sister from the Knowles that it almost killed her, and everything healed except her voice. So hope you guys had a lot of fun kind of finding out about that. Definitely a super fun like backstory to kind of develop and then like play out through the scene and see Quinn's reactions and like how she connects to certain things. And then, Alice having this moment where she can tell Quinn, like, I know you have this gift, and, she has this like connection with her where this is part of why Alice tried to stay away from Quinn in the beginning, is because whenever Quinn is kind of around, she feels the pneumonic symbol burn. And she doesn't like to be in pain, obviously. So, but now that she realizes that there's this connection and is actually telling her that there's something important about Quinn, then she's like, okay, like it doesn't mean that this gift of yours needs to be bad. Like it can be used for good. And I think Quinn, I don't know if I've ever said this to you guys, but like one of the inspirations for Quinn too was the Bane girl from Frozen, not Anna, but her sister. Oh my gosh, blanking on her name because so many things in my brain right now. But anyway, she has this whole belief that like I can't do anything. Oh no, it was Frozen, but it was also, sorry, I'm jumping around. The story Wicked. That's what it really was. So I love the musical Wicked, and Elphaba, Elsa, sorry, I remembered. So Elsa from Frozen, Elphaba from Wicked, who has this whole song of like, there's no good deed goes unpunished, and she has this whole belief that her abilities and her herself is only meant for evil, for doing bad. And I think I kind of drew some of that for Quinn, where her experiences as she's growing up kind of tell her that like you're meant to be a villain, you're meant to be on the outside, you're meant to like be an outcast and maybe be a pirate and not do the right thing all the time. And so for Alice to kind of look at her and say, like you can master this and you can use this for good, like is a big kind of moment for Quinn. All of you are saying Elsa. I know, I knew it started with an E and it just wasn't coming to me for some reason. Let's see. Jackie says, I like the twist of her parents spreading the rumors. Yeah, it's like a spreading to protect her, right? Elba is my spirit animal. Yes. She's pretty great. I love the show Wicked. And played by the same actress too. Maybe that's why too in my brain it was like connection. Yeah, Idina Menzel is a literal queen. I agree. Phenomenal voice. Oh my gosh, even that on its own. Okay, so we're not done with Alice because I have a couple more things and a few more things to share. But I'm going to try to wrap it up soon. So then we get this aspect too, where Alice can speak to animals and also speak, to any fairies, really, not just Quinn, but any fairies through touch. And that's why she wears the gloves. But it started out with the animals because she's a dryad. And I thought it'd be really great, especially because she's mute, to be able to have a deep connection with other animals like Toma, where she could talk through touch and, have a strong connection through healing them. And so eventually I got playing with the idea that when she healed Quinn, this would be the time when she reveals that she can talk to her too. But I still wanted Quinn to learn sign language because I didn't want it to become this whole thing of like, okay, like Alice is mute, but like it's not really relevant anymore. And I really wanted Quinn too to like take that step and initiative of like, okay, I want to like learn to communicate with her, how she communicates. And so even though Quinn can't obviously become a master at it in a very short time, I wanted to have that element where she's at least trying. And when they are apart, or some of you have mentioned, like, couldn't they just write it down? It's like, that would take so much longer if they had a pen and paper and they had to write everything down to communicate. They could. But when you can just sign, then it just makes it so much easier. and it'll become even more important as the story continues, their interactions. And then we get to, you know what, let me just check these last few comments about Alice because I'm going to move on to Lemon. Um, her voice is magic. I agree. Ingrid says, ability not defining her, but her actions are so powerful for Quinn, who has let her damage her to her brother define her, whether she admits it or not. Exactly. Ingrid, you always say exactly the right thing, even better than I do sometimes. I love it. Alicia says to Mary and Jackie, just so much yes. I love Adina. And these incredible women she loans her voice to. Agreed. Jackie says, yes, thank you for not erasing her disability. Yeah, and I know that, like, that's part of, I, I wanted to show, like, obviously, I don't have a disability, but, like, I feel like it's important to have people that have disabilities having leading roles and, yeah, not taking away their disability, and so I hope I did that well. I had some beta readers definitely, like, kinda helping me with that, but, I'm glad that you appreciate that, Jackie. A couple other things, let's see, for Layman, we're going to figure out how to pronounce him. Lemon. So I really wanted to have another sibling figure that Quinn could relate to with Alice, because like Lemon also is like this very close to Alice's age, like not a twin, but like kind of has like a Quinn and Gaius kind of banter where they love each other, but you know, they also disagree on some things. And like I said before, I wanted to show his perspective against the competition and to sort of be a foil for Alice and Lord Torlon, and like those kind of dryads that want to be primarily peaceful, where Lemon is also like, yes, we want to be peaceful, but we also need to protect life, which means we need to like sometimes be a warrior. And so that's a little bit about him. For Ivy, I think it was actually a beta reader that suggested showing one of Alice's younger siblings more. And I think I had a little bit of Ivy, but she didn't play as big of a role. I think it actually might have been JJ, if I remember correctly, that was had this idea. And so the more I developed her, the more I was like, it would be really great to have this like super innocent, super joyful kind of character for Quinn to have this soft spot for. And even though Ivy is younger than her other crewmates that she had when she was a pirate, it kind of like is reminiscent of Quinn being like the older kind of caretaker for her younger pirate crew. I'm kind of missing that and like almost wishing she had a sister like Ivy. So we get to see these like softer edges to Quinn. We had the training scene with Vale, which you talked about a little bit. I really wanted to show this more vulnerable moment for her character as her arc is continuing, and more will come of that. Great scenes with Hickory learning more about the tome, and we learn that he's had a crush on Vale this whole time. And I think for some of you that might have been a little bit of a surprise, but if you look at all of the other interactions, like if you kind of go back and reread whenever they're in the same scene together, there's definitely like hints in there. But yeah, so that's kind of something there. And then let's see, Queen warns Quinn one more time right before the trial, and that those warnings are like kind of running out, right? And then we get to the trial of life, which I've said before is the midpoint of this episode. And we have this Gaius / Hickory hallucination that Quinn has, and this whole scene used to be something entirely different. That little segment there, and it just didn't pack a punch. Didn't have a lot to do with Quinn's character arc. It just was her surviving some kind of danger. And so I actually was talking to Ben about it and my developmental editor about it. And Ben, after I mentioned that there were hallucinations as a result of the poison that they got, that he was like, what if she sees Gaius, and what if it's not actually Gaius, but it's like someone else? And I was like, all right, I already have Hickory in the scene. What if, especially because Hickory is like a pseudo kind of brother character throughout this story, there's that kind of scene, and we see like kind of Quinn's biggest fears, that if she ever like before got to see her brother, that her biggest fears of what he would say to her. Like she always knew that he would be kind to her and forgiving, but it's like all the hallucinations are bringing out like her biggest fears, and she kind of has to deal with that in the moment. This, I'll just say too, was the first time that I've cried while writing a scene. It wasn't like sobbing, but it was like tears actually coming out, and I was like, "Oh," because I was like, like channeling and like thinking about again my own brothers, and if I ever lost them, and like how that would feel, and how it would feel if they were like dying in my arms, and so it was just this moment of just like really kind of emotional and sad, but also like, wow, like I hope this comes across on the page because like I felt it while I was writing it. Um, so there's a little tidbit there. Um, I knew that the heirs would then face the goblins again at some point, so I thought it'd be really great to have it during this trial because again, they're away from other people that could protect them. We see Alice's bravery, like we talked about before. Then we get into this mystic temple. Alice and Hickory see Quinn's fire, which is part of why they start to buddy up and become this little trio. They see someone else in the temple, and Quinn like goes after them because she thinks it's the same person, the same hooded figure that she saw in Shree. Because, well, he doesn't speak into her mind, but like she has this like remembrance, and then they get trapped and they find out more about the prophecy. The prophecy was like really fun to write too and kind of weave in the title of the whole series on Wings of Ash and Dust. So hopefully you guys kind of enjoyed the prophecy as well and kind of the poeticness in there. We find out Vale can read the Pneumanic language, which she's really good at ancient languages, so it makes sense. But it kind of confirms after some other talking that this is the book that the queen is looking for. But yeah, they're forced to work together to survive again. We have this scene where Hickory loses his sight temporarily, which is like this big moment for him because that's his biggest fear. And then Quinn, Alice, and Hickory finish the trial together. Quinn is poisoned as the all is lost. And with this new vision for Gaius, I am curious if you guys have any theories for that, what it means. But that was really fun to write as well. And at the end, when we go through all of the episodes, I can give you more insight into why what is in there is in there. We see this like first glimpse of Faden having a heart as he's sitting next to Quinn while she's recovering from this poison. So that was a really fun scene to write as well. And then we see these alliances form, the team assembles, Quinn is willing to ask for help for the first time. So this was really big about her arc. I knew I was always kind of moving to this moment where she would have to decide, like, am I going to keep doing this by myself or am I going to like try to trust someone again? So it was a really big step for her, her theme of trust. And then we have this final scene where Aaron takes Quinn to this like little oasis and they finally kiss. Yay. So I hope, I'm not a romance writer, but I like a little romance here and there. And I hope you guys enjoyed that they finally kissed. Wondering what you thought of this scene. Again, I really loved writing the atmosphere. I had a lot of fun with the environment. And the interactions between Aaron and Quinn, like they go from everything from playing around and Aaron like kind of like pretending to be one of her crew and like taking orders from her to like having these like more serious kind of talks about what Quinn has been experiencing. So, and then eventually that leading to him kissing her. And we also see this evolution of this phrase that they've been saying to each other this whole time of no holding back. And I'm just making sure that I'm not getting ahead of myself. But yeah, I'm pretty sure he says it right in this scene. And then they kiss. And so we see this continual kind of evolution of this phrase that will be used again. And then we have this kind of calm. This is like the calm before the storm. Dun dun dun. Okay, I'm going to read a few more comments, see if there's any more theories, and then we're going to wrap up with just a couple housekeeping things. Let's see. Alicia says, I want Alice's brother on Quinn's council or as a part of her future crew. I like that. Gosh, I don't know why I'm so thirsty, guys. Ingrid says, I really enjoy Hickory's crush on Vale. I'm glad you kept it in. Good. I'm glad. I'm glad. Jackie says it wasn't a surprise to me, but I did find myself wondering why, because they're such opposites. We can go into that more, I think, after the whole series is done. Let's see. Jay says, loved how you changed that scene with the hallucination. Thank you. That was definitely like a, oh, I don't want to rewrite this part, but I think it's gonna be worth it once I get there. Jackie says, oh, I forgot to mention how well done the torture dream scene is where Quinn is about to get stabbed. Yes. Pay attention to those details, guys. Might come back. Alicia says, theory is that Gaius is in fact alive and she's getting her twin echoes because he found out about the text and he knew he had something, he had to do something to fix it. Okay. Again, straight face, but I love hearing the theories. I'm so excited to talk about everything at the end. Jackie, I thought the same thing. Mary. Ooh, did I miss a comment from Mary? Let me know if I missed something, guys. Ingrid said, opposites attract, they say. I think it's a cool contrast, but they are both so knowledgeable. Hickory dislikes the underground and Vale is from Eldor, a place he'd rather be. I think it attracts him. I think too, like she's, yeah, I'd have to get like my brain around this a little bit to make sure I'm not like spoiling stuff, but we can talk more about them. But I do agree with Ingrid on those things. Let's see. Theory, straight face. That torture dream scene is what killed Gaius, whether actually giving him the Knolls or it only looked like the Knolls. Love the theories. Jackie says, except I'm pretty sure Gaius is alive. Just a theory though. Straight face. Alicia, I thought it was interesting that Aaron was the last one to believe her in their alliances. Also keeping straight face for that one, but I'm reading it out loud because I like the thoughts. Ingrid says, and in turn, he has become attracted to Vale. Okay, that was a continuation of her thought before. And Alicia says, he says no more holding back. No more holding back, and he kisses her. Okay, good. Okay, I was like, shoot, did I keep that in there? Because yeah, obviously I've seen so many iterations of these scenes, but so it is there, no holding back, and then he kisses her. Yes. Hold on. Ingrid. Oh, my favorite funny moment is when Quinn asks for rum and Aaron thinks she's joking and she notes that she meant it. It's so subtle and quickly passed. I actually chuckled out loud. Yes. I'm glad. Thank you for sharing that with me because I love when it's like those like emotive kind of things that happen while you're reading. Katie, I'll have to watch the replay, but yay. Yes, we are wrapping up shortly. Cool. Okay. You guys, okay, you already said predictions or theories. So now let's just talk real quick about how we're going to celebrate this episode, because with each of the episodes, we've had a different kind of competition related activity. And for the last episode that we had, we did a talent contest to honor the Trial of Beauty. And here's a quick look in case you didn't see them last week of the top submissions and some of the winners. This was so fun, you guys. I just have to say again, you're all so talented and it just made my heart so happy. But to celebrate episode 4 and the trial of life, I'm doing something a little different, and I'm going to bring this up because I have things to show you. Oh, see, and let me just show this big because they're all so beautiful and great. But since the Dryad Etho is all about protecting and preserving life, I seriously couldn't think of a better way to honor the Dryad Etho of life than by giving to a cause that is doing great things in the world. So I've decided to donate. I know some of you have already heard this, but bear with me. I've decided to donate 20% of everything I make on my book sales and merch sales for the next week to St. Jude's Children's Research Hospital, who's constantly working to preserve and protect children's lives from cancer and other diseases. Knowing what we know about Alice now, how she lost her sister and her desire to save lives from the Knolls, which I didn't put this in the behind the scenes stuff, but I will say it here that when I was developing the Knolls, it's basically like cancer that's in the fairy world. It's like very similar in some ways, and like that it doesn't have like a solution yet, it doesn't have a remedy yet, and it's been around and it's spreading, but like they don't know how to heal it yet. There's another word in there I'm missing, but so I think Alice would approve basically of this way that we can honor her clan and this part of the competition by doing a donation. to this great cause. So obviously a lot of you who are here have already purchased the books, or you're getting them early because you're a patron or ARC reader or whatever. But here's two other ways that you can help me raise as much money for this donation as possible. The first is sharing about this donation challenge with other fantasy lovers you know in real life or on social media. You can even reshare my Instagram post to your stories if that's helpful, and that is a link down below. But you can also represent your favorite fairy clan or an On Wings of Ash and Dust character by purchasing FAERIE swag from my merch store. And 20% of what I make from that will also go to St. Jude's Hospital. And for a while now, I've had sweatshirts, one with all the characters and different ones for each fairy clan with the wings on the back. So if you want to represent your fairy clan, have it on the back. Let's see. I have mine with there we go. With the Gwillian one, even though I am a nymph, so I should probably get a nymph one too, but I needed to represent my girl Quinn. We also have mugs, pen pouches, so like the zipper pouches. So I have one of these, which I love so much, and I keep all of my highlighters and bullet journal kind of pens and stuff in there. And we also have, let's see, stickers for each of the fairy clans as well. And it's been really cool to see those of you that have gotten merch and shared it on social media. If you just bought some recently and you get it in, you want to share it on social media, please tag me because I'd love to see it. And now, in honor of this donation challenge, I asked my patrons, my ARC team, Instagram followers, what new merch they would like to see most. And I've already started adding some. So there's long sleeves versions of the shirts that we've had, and zip up hoodies of these shirts that have the wings on the back. I've added the digital wallpaper that I've been including in our giveaways, so you can get those and get all of them if you want. And I will continue to add those as the other wallpapers come out, or the other episode book covers come out. I'm also working on posters. So I have one poster up there for Vale's poster, but I'm going to get the other ones up there soon. You guys have requested pen pouches, tumblers, phone cases, and then if I can get my act together to start a Redbubble merch store this week. So sorry, guys. I haven't talked really all day. I've just been working. So I think that's why this is going on. But Redbubble has prints, like postcard size prints that I could do of the book art, notebooks. So you can have a notebook with the book art on it, mouse pads for your computer. And then somebody was saying they'd love stickers of the book covers. So I don't know if you guys mean like just the character art sticker, or the sticker would be like the entire book cover with the title on it too, or like how big you would want it. So let me know if you have preferences. But I'm also deciding that I'm going to include any purchases this week of my author website bootcamp. If you've been thinking about joining my course or want to check it out right now, you could purchase this website and 20% of it would go to St. Jude's. And this is obviously like a bigger purchase where I get a lot more of the profit because I created, like, my merch store is hosted on Teespring, so they get a little bit of a cut. But with my course, I get everything. So 20% of that, if you buy it in full, would be about $40 that would go to St. Jude's Hospital. So if you have been thinking about buying the course and you just haven't pulled the trigger yet and you want to do it now because you want to support the cause, you can totally do that within the next week. And that will go to St. Jude's. But anywho, I know this activity isn't as interactive as a trivia game or a talent contest, but I hope you guys are excited to see this series support a great cause. I hope this is really fun. So I'm just going, I have a couple comments, and then I have one more thing to tell you guys, and then we will close up. Let's see, where did I leave off with comments? Already read that. Okay, so Donnie is giving me the thumbs up, so I hope that is good. Ingrid, I'm still deciding what to get from the shop, but I might be looking at those zip-up hoodies. Yes, representing the Dryad merch. Yeah, and all the hoodies and stuff, they all come in different colors, so make sure you check out the different colors. JJ, can't wait to get my Sil sweatshirt. You already bought it, yes. Mary said, I got some Dryad merch for my sister and a nymph hoodie for me this week. Can't wait to get them in. Yes, oh my gosh, I'm so excited for you guys to have them. Ingrid said, I've actually had the luckily and easily treated type cancer when I was fairly young and still in middle school. So I love this cause and fits Alice so well too. Oh my gosh, Ingrid, I had no idea. I'm so glad that like, yeah, it's like you have already benefited, and so that is amazing. And, I think I shared this on Instagram too. Like my mom is a nurse, and I've just seen how much the medical profession has had to go through, especially this last year and a half. And not that this money is directly going to them, but hopefully it will help them be able to treat people who have cancer and other diseases, and especially children, better because we're supporting them. So anyway, I'm glad you guys are supportive and excited about this, because again, it's not like a super active activity, but I thought it'd be really, really great and kind of perfect. So I'm going to close up with just saying that I hope you guys are excited for episode 5. I know some of you have early copies and have read it, but we will have a book chat about it in the future. And I thought, because I just finished finalizing the blurb for this book, that I would share it and read it out loud to you guys, because we're going to have a cover reveal for this cover tomorrow. And I'll just say it right now that you can sign up to be a part of the cover reveal if you're not already, down below. But this is what the blurb says for this book. The tunnels are not the only terrors Quinn must face next. That's the tagline. Then we get into the heirs have agreed to find Quinn's attacker and decode the tome's ominous prophecy together. But their new alliance is tested at every corner as they enter the underground tunnels. Hickory's home in the Kobold City is an overwhelming maze of mystery, pixie dust machinery, and mayhem, and nothing compares with the challenge that awaits them in the next death-defying trial. As they prepare for the impossible task, Quinn uncovers the dark truths about her past and her enemies, which only raise more questions that sends her spiraling. If she hopes to survive them, she'll have to face her own demons and tame the fire inside. So that is the blurb. And he does look super cool. I saw Donnie said that. I'm glad you like him. So one more cover reveal, and we will have a complete set after this, you guys. Like, look, they're all like together. We just need the sixth one. They look so pretty together. And like I said, speaking of covers, we have the cover reveal for episode 5 tomorrow. Here are some of the pretty mock-ups my cover reveal team is getting that they can post tomorrow. And let me just say, like, wasn't Hickory's cover designed to, like, destined to be released in the fall? Like, all of these fall images are totally jiving with this cover, and it's making me so happy. So if you want to help celebrate tomorrow, the sign up form for the cover reveal team is down below. I can still send you the information. You can post anytime tomorrow. And I'll just say thank you so much for hanging out with me, you guys. I think we were a little shorter today than we've been in the past. And as always, so much thanks and gratitude to my ARC readers and also my incredible ARC team, who is going above and beyond to help promote this series. You guys are seriously amazing. Also, huge thanks to my amazing patrons who are so faithful supporters, and my supportive YouTube members, all of you using the emojis. You guys are amazing and just so awesome, and I'm so thankful for you. So we will see you guys next week for episode 5's official release party, same time, same place. And I'll be talking all about what it's like to be self-published for the first time, what it's been like to do a fast release of a serial, answering your guys' questions, letting you know the pros and cons I found, what marketing tactics I think I've found most helpful in actually getting sales and getting the word out there about the books, and some things I might do differently, and more. So I really hope to see you guys there at the live stream next week, because I think we're gonna have a lot of fun. So I'm just gonna look at the last few comments and then we will close up for the night. Let's see, where was I? JJ has already read episode 5, so I loved it. I'm so glad. I'm so glad that you think Hickory looks so cool. So excited for this steampunk inspired story. Yes. Great blurb. Thank you, Ingrid. I feel like I'm getting better at blurbs. They're coming to me a little easier, which is great. Love how they all look together. Thank you. And I hope to be there. Can't wait for next week. Yay. Awesome. Great. Well, you guys, I hope you have a fabulous night. We'll see you tomorrow for the cover reveal on Instagram, and next week for episode 5's release. Hope you guys have a great week. Bye.